Hello, welcome to Sephra's Pop Culture World. Today we are finally going to discuss some of the things I've been wanting to discuss for so long, but I haven't had time or I just didn't want to clutter up my main channel. I used to blog a lot about TV shows like American Horror Story and 90 Day Fiance and stuff like that. And but now, because I am a writer and I spend a lot of time writing, so I'm just going to talk on video about some of these ideas because this seems to be the way to do things. Now, oh my goodness, who watches 90 Day Fiance? Like who watches? Are you here for 90 Day Fiance stuff? And I'm talking about all the 90 Day Fiance stuff. We got before the 90 days, after the 90 days, doing the 90 days, what's happening on 90 days, waiting for 90 days, the blow up after 90 days, the tell-alls of 90 days. This has spiraled out into a spider web of all sorts of great juicy gossip. Now, I've been watching 90 Day Fiance since it was first invented. I am a long time viewer. I have never missed an episode of any of those crazy people. And yeah, I started watching it, I think because I was watching all those crazy Sister Wives shows, Sister Wives, and then the polygamy shows and all the spin-offs of that. And then 90 Day Fiance came into those slots, and so now I watch those. And now 90 Day Fiance is like a 2 day event because we have our Sunday night and our Monday night. People coming and going, and some people are on again, and it's hilarious. It is hilarious. So, who am I going to talk about? There's so much to talk about. Like last night's episode. Today's September 2nd. Okay? So, last night's episode was it's always amazing. All right, who should we start? I don't even know where to begin because this is my first time talking about it, but I'll be talking about it a lot. All right, so we have our Darcy and Tom situation. Darcy, oh Darcy. I guess first of all, I'm gonna say that over the years I've been watching 90 year, 90 Day Fiance. That it has changed a lot. I don't believe anymore that a lot of these relationships are real. I believe a lot of it is scripted, and it's yeah, and then also a lot of these people who are on 90 Day Fiance have other social media, and then I'm in a few Facebook groups where we all gossip about these shows, and then people will post things from other social media because they follow a lot of the people on Instagram or other social media places, and they'll say like, "Oh yeah, this couple is together still," or "This one's divorced," or "I saw this one like in Florida when we thought they're in Africa," and all these kinds of ideas, right? So we also can tell just by how a couple of these stories are this season that it is scripted. And there are characters, where they're meeting for the first time, but they're wearing wedding rings, which, oh, I can't remember the ones I'm thinking of in particular. The guy who spent over $40,000, not Caesar, but the other guy, and he's in I don't know, Colombia or someplace with this really mean girl. And yet they're apparently still together and they're apparently very happy. And apparently they'd been together, like married, before the show even started for quite some time and running a bar in her country. And I guess they edited it to make her look really mean because I'm like, how can this man stay with such a bitch? But then again, we've all been in relationships where people scream at us and we stay because we think it'll get better, or other people observing don't have the whole story, right? So with things like that, then now I'm just like, I don't feel these stories are as fresh and new as it had first started off to be. Well, I think when the show first began, it was more authentic. I'm not saying it wasn't scripted, but I do feel it was more authentic than now. We're just, getting some, here's your 30 seconds of fame kind of stuff happening. So Darcy. Oh, Darcy. I mean, how long is this video going to be? There's so many people to go on about. But one thing I think is funny, we were talking on one of the not we, but I lurk. One of the Facebook groups, people were talking about how Darcy last week when she was going to meet this Tom guy in England. Let me back up for a sec. Darcy, we met on a previous season of one of the 90 Day Fiance shows because she was involved with a young man named Jesse. Now, Darcy is pushing 50, I think, and Jesse was a young man, younger than my kids. He was like 23, 24, and he's a bodybuilder, and he's from Amsterdam or someplace like that. Really cute, really thick accent, and very strict in his ways of being, very masculine. And so I figure Darcy was attracted to the masculinity, but along with men that are that masculine, they also can be quite controlling. And so a lot of the show seemed to be cut in a way that Jesse seemed like an obnoxious asshole, and Darcy was a blabbling, boohooing, crazy woman. And I know a lot of that was cut to look like that, but at the end of the day, they didn't work out. Jesse had a lot of issues with her drinking, and just from what I could see, he had a right to because it seemed like whenever she'd drink, she'd get paranoid, she'd start crying, and oh my God, this woman cries at a drop of a hat on a good day without booze. So I'm sure her just boohooing in a bubbly mess was not good for her and Jesse. However, I do suspect they had a really great sex life, which is probably why they put up with each other so long. So now so apparently, while she was with Jesse, she had also been talking online with this Tom guy from England. The stuff with Jesse blew up. It was painful to watch those episodes because Darcy's just crazy. Like, if I wouldn't deal with her at all if I was a man, I can't deal with women like that. Um, no matter who you are. I can't deal with women like that. Um, and what I mean by that is she's very, very vain, so vain. She has extensions, she's had massive plastic surgery, all these episodes, lip injections and Botox and crazy clothes and, you know, probably body work as well. And I can't do, claws out to here. I know I don't have the best fingernails in the world because I do a lot with my hands, so they get dirty and break. But no, I can't live a life with claws. So I always wonder about women who have claws because they obviously don't type as much as me or deal with animals as much as me or even just washing the dishes. So she apparently had been communicating with this Tom dude for 4 or 5 years. On the show, they say 4 years. So, and the show was filmed months ago, so 5 years, I guess. Um, and I guess he got her through Jesse and all that. So she, of course, immediately thinks Tom is going to marry her. And it's just horrific to watch these episodes where she's like begging to get laid, begging, it's just so sad. But the thing I was laughing about last night was because, well, last week Darcy was supposed to meet. Darcy when it came from the United States to England to meet this Tom guy in the flesh for the first time. They'd been communicating emails and Snapchats and whatever for about 4 years, but they'd never actually met in real life. And all the pictures of Tom, he looked really hot. He looked like a model and stuff. But then when we meet him, he's not so much. He's still a very nice looking man. Don't get me wrong. He is a nice looking man. It's my type of man. I like men that look like that, the curly hair and an English accent. And, he's my type. So, Darcy, when you're done, you can send him to me. Um, Anyways, so he's trying to be a gentleman, and he's also a real playboy. He has like a million women on a string, and he says that. So I'm sure when Darcy's watching these episodes and seeing how he says, he has a different woman every day of the week, she's not going to be happy at all. She's not. And oh, we're having an air show. I don't know if you can hear that airplane going over. Um, Anyways, so Tom had someone pick her up at the airport. Oh, there it goes. Fighter jet. Must be scary for people, for refugees and people who come to Toronto, escaping war-torn countries. And we go and have an air show for 3 days with military planes. I don't know how much you heard on the microphone here. That's why I wear the headset because I'm in the city and I could never do recordings with all the noises. But as an aside, I do think it must be difficult if you're from a war-torn country to hear this air show, and I hope they all realize it's an air show and we're not under attack. And then later tonight there'll be fireworks because it's Labor Day. So it'll be like, more trauma for these poor people that are trying to rebuild their lives. Anyways, talking about rebuilding lives. So Darcy is picked up at the airport by a cab driver. And the previous week, they had talked about how she was going to she was going to be picked up at the airport, then taken to her Airbnb so she could freshen up, and then she would go and meet him. Yet, for some reason, she decided to spend almost an hour in the airport bathroom while the cab driver waited, and we got to see her like doing the washing her armpits and all that crazy stuff, putting on her thigh-high hooker boots and whatever to go meet this man. And we all joked she forgot her pants. You know, but to meet this man, and she's spraying all this perfume. Feel so bad with perfume allergies, and they have to walk by her. You know, so I don't know why she didn't go do that at the Airbnb where she would have had a proper bathroom and not standing on airport sludge and gross. Ugh, it's just so gross. And meanwhile, I heard later someone posted in the Facebook group that the poor Tom had a $500 bill from the cab driver because he had to wait for her shenanigans in the bathroom. And apparently Tom's quite rich, so I'm sure it's not that much, but it's still like $500. Give it to me, man. I'll take your $500. Um, so, and then now she's all upset because Tom hasn't slept with her yet. And so she's being really, it's cringy to watch her. But anyway, so last night, Angela, who's with Michael, and they're in Africa. No, they're not in Africa. I'm getting all my couples mixed up. Anyways, Angela's from the States and she's gone over. Um, and so when she's about ready to meet Michael, she was in the airport bathroom, but she was doing what the rest of us do in an airport bathroom, which is a quick little splash, freshen up your lipstick, put a bit of powder on, and go. You're not in there 45 minutes doing a complete outfit change and stepping barefoot on swill and slime of who knows what from what country. So Angela, good on you. Angela's scary. Angela is a reality show professional, I think you could say. She's been on Jerry Springer, she's been on a few other shows, and she's in love with this young man, Michael. And now Angela. Oh, I should go back to Darcy for a minute with Darcy and Tom. Darcy and Tom are closer in age. I think Tom's like 2 years younger than Darcy or something. So they're way more age appropriate than Darcy and Jesse were. So they do have that. So if we go to Angela and Michael, Angela is also like oh yeah, she's 53 and Michael's about 27 now or so because we've been following these two people for a couple of seasons now. And like I said, Angela is a bit of a reality star. She's been on a couple of other shows with various issues and stuff. And so she's rough though. She scares me. I don't think I'd like to meet her in real life. She's a big scary lady. I don't know how Michael deals with her. Well, I think Michael's just going for the green card to be honest, because she's pretty abusive. Um, like she's not abusive as in mean. It's just how you could tell she had a rough life, and so she's very blunt and outspoken, and she's had her heart broken a few times, so she's just kind of gets in people's faces and stuff. And I know a few people like this. We all know people like this, and so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But again, we're watching Angela and Michael, and yet I've heard through social media that they may not be together anymore. I don't know because I try to ignore all that because I want to be surprised. So I hope I haven't spoiled anything for any of you. So she's always nagging him about him lying and stuff, and he was saying last night that she makes him talk to her for for like 45 minutes. I mean, not 45 minutes, for like 7 hours a day, and he's paying $400 a month on his phone bill, which I presume she sends to him because she made him quit his job so she could talk to him. So, there's a lot of controlling issues in these relationships. And I think a large part of problems, I'm going to wrap this first video up a bit. There's so many couples to talk about and laugh about and deal with, but I think a large part of the issues with some of these American women is they're not respecting the cultures they're going over to see, and then they get their backs up because in a lot of the cultures, and we're talking several different types of cultures here, because there's like I just the couples I have written down are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 couples just that I've written down that I want to talk about, let alone the other dozens of couples we have seen over the years on this show. Um, and a lot of men from these countries, they're raised that they're the boss and the women are secondary citizens. And I find it interesting that a lot of these very strong, brash, outspoken women, you got Angela, and Rebecca is a very strong woman as well, and a couple of others, even Avery, they're very strong women, and yet they are hooking up with these guys who are not going to put up with that crap. And so it feels like that once, this whole television show business is over, because let's face it, they all know they're on TV. Um, that I worry that these women aren't going to be able to deal with these very strong men who are from cultures where they're the boss. Because these American women, we grow up in a culture where we think we're the same as men, and we're not when we go other places. And even in the States and Canada, women are still not quite equal with men in many ways. So I worry that some of these women, it's over before it starts because of these cultural differences, and refusing to wear the customary clothes in the other countries. And then they'll say, well, people come over here and don't dress American, which, here in Toronto, where you have tons of cultures here, and everybody wears their cultural clothes if they want to, or they can dress, North American, whatever. Toronto is a very huge, lots of cultures and things. So where maybe we're more exposed than some of these women in these small towns of what these cultures actually are and what they expect and how you're supposed to dress. And so it does seem that if you don't have respect for the culture, you're supposedly moving. Oh, that reminds me of Jenny and Sumit too. Yeah, I better write them down. Speaking of people who won't wear the clothes, Jenny and Sumit, they're a very sweet couple. Jenny and Sumit, I like them a lot, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up for now. But please, if you have 90 Day Fiance comments, oh, just talk to me, please. I love talking about this stuff, and none of my friends in real life watch this show. So I'm going to be making lots of videos on 90 Day Fiance. Oh, yes, I am, now that I've started this new channel. All right, have a great day. Bye.